Hello and welcome to my channel, Crochet and Copy. My name is Judy. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this lovely granny cake shawl. With this pattern, it's easy and simple to follow. All we do is repeat 2 rows and that's it to make our shawl. Very easy, very simple. So let's get started. Here is the measurement for our shawl. So these are supplies you're going to be using to make our granny cake shawl, where we got our name from. Anyway, the yarn is from the Caron Skinny Cakes. I go over it with you some more. It's 100% acrylic and it's 795 yards. It's a light 3 and the color is Cupcake. All right, so that's for our yarn. And if you want your shawl to be larger or longer, you would need 2 balls, because for me I use 1 ball to complete the size that I made. Okay, also too, we're going to be using a yarn needle, but for this project I'm using my tapestry needle. You see it has a different point at the end, because for this project the yarn is only a 3, so it could fit in here for me, so that's why I'm using it. But remember, just a regular yarn needle works perfect. Okay, and the hook that I'm using, it's the USH8. It's the 5.00 millimeter, and lastly a scissors. So these are all our supplies we're going to be using to make our granny cake shawl. So let's get started. And to get started with our yarn, to find the tail, go ahead and take off your label. And what I did is I pulled from the center so I could find the tail and to get started. All right. To get our yarn attached to our hook, we're going to do what's called a slip knot stitch. So that's what we're going to start off with. This is how I do my slip knot stitch. If you have a different method, feel free to use it. Okay, I take the yarn, I drape it over my 2 fingers and let it fall to the back. Take my hook, put it between my 2 fingers and pull up a loop of yarn. There you go. Have a little knot. Take that little knot and tighten it against my hook, and that's a slip knot stitch. So now we're going to do chain, and we're going to need 210 chain. So a chain is yarn over your hook, pull through, 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 yarn over your hook, pull through. And keep your chain as loose as you can, not tight. And remember, you need 210. So keep a track of how many you have. And when you finish doing 210 chain, I'll meet you and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so we did that. We did 210 chain. So now moving on to our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it to the back, because that's what we're going to work in. We're going to work in those little bars or bumps in the back of our chain. I think it makes it looks nicer when we do that, when we work in the back. If you want to, you could work in the front if you're not comfortable with it. All right, so no worries. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 double crochet in the 7th chain from our hook. So a double crochet is yarn over your hook. You're going to count and find the little bumps from our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one right here, we're going to put 3 double crochet. So go into that chain, that little bump in the back, pull up a loop of yarn, yarn over, and you're going to pull across the first 2 loops of yarn in your hook. And to complete it, yarn over and pull across the 2 remaining loops on your hook. That's it. That's how you do a double crochet. I'll show you again. Yarn over, go back into that same chain, and you're going to pull up a loop of yarn, 3 loops of yarn on your hook, yarn over, pull across the first 2 more remaining on your hook, yarn over to complete it, and pull straight across those 2 loops of yarn, and that's it. One more time, I'll show you. Yarn over, and you go into that same chain, pull up a loop of yarn, yarn over, pull across the first 2, and then you have 2 more loops of yarn on your hook, yarn over, pull across the last 2, and that's it. So now this is the pattern for row 1. So we complete doing those 3 double crochet. So you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to skip 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. You skip 3 of those, and then you're going to do like what we just did. You're going to put in the following one, so that will be the 4th chain. You're going to put 3 double crochet. All right, so go ahead and do that. So this will be 1, because I showed you how to do the double crochet, so you know how to do that. So this is 2, and this will be our last one for right here. This will be our 3rd double crochet. So this is the pattern we're going to follow till we get all the way to the end of our chain. Okay, and when you have 3 stitches remaining, I'll show you what to do next. All right, but keep on working with this pattern. You chain your 1, and then you find 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. You skip those, and then the 4th you put your 3 double crochet. All right, so keep that pattern going, and when you complete doing that, I will meet you there. So now we did that pattern, and now we have 3 chain remaining. Yes, it took us a while to get there, right? Anyway, this is the longest part to me, row 1. The rest of the rows much easier, so don't worry, it gets better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to chain our 1, and we're going to skip 2 of our chain, and the last chain we're going to put 1 double crochet right there, and then this will make us complete row 1. Yeah. So now to start row 2, what you're going to do is you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to chain 3. All right, 1, 2, and 3. And for row 1, if you want your shawl to be longer, all you need to do is when you start doing your chain, just start off by adding 4 more chain. So how we did 210, so what you would do is you add 4 more and then 4 more, so 110, 11, 12, 13, 14. That will be 1 set of the granny square, as we did the granny square set. That's what we're going to consider it. Okay, that's how we're going to say that you did. For our pattern, we did 51 granny sets. All right, so these are the sets: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that 3 chain we did right here, we'll consider our first double crochet. So now what we need to do in this space right here, we're going to put 2 double crochet. All right, so just put 2 double crochet into that space, and then it will make, see, you have now 3. So that will do our first granny set for row 2. So now to continue row 2, the pattern is you're going to chain your 1, and we're going to go into the chain 1 space from the previous row, and we're going to put 3 double crochet there, and that's all our pattern consists of, and that's it. That's why I said the first row was the hardest row to get moving, because after this it's all easy. No fuss, no fuss at this time. Okay, so that's it. That's the second granny set. So now you're going to chain your 1, go into, so you're skipping 3 of our stitches, 1, 2, 3, and you're going into the chain 1 space from the previous row, and all you're doing is adding 3 double crochet right there. So you're going to do this till you get to the end of your row to do, and when you get to the end, you have 3 stitches remaining, 1, 2, 3. you stop there and I'll show you what to do next. All right, so just keep that pattern, simple, easy pattern, and that now you're going to move faster, you see. So this is for row 2. So now we made it to where we have 3 stitches remaining for row 2. 1, 2, 3. So what you're going to do is you're going to chain your 1, and so now we're going to put right here where our turn and chain was, we're going to put 2 double crochet to start off with. So it'll be the first one, and then we're going to put a second double crochet right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a double crochet on the top of our turn and chain. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, our 4th chain. You could go ahead and adjust your double crochet, the 2 of them that we did, just pull it to the side, and then you're going to put a double crochet into that chain on top of the turning chain. Okay, so just go on those the two loops of yarn, and then you're just going to put a double crochet right there, and then that will be the completion of row 2. To start row 3, you turn your work and you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the pattern now for row 3. What you're going to do is you're going to skip our first 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 3 double crochet into our chain 1 space from the previous row. All right, so that's the pattern for row 3. And I need one more. Show you again. So it's the chain 1, and then do exactly what we've been doing. Put 3 double crochet right there. Okay, so we put 3 double crochet. So chain your 1 and continue with that pattern, and then you're going to do this pattern till we get to the end of our row. And when you have 2 more stitches remaining at the end, I'll meet you there and I'll show you what to do next. So just keep on working with that pattern that we have. So now we made it to the end of row 3 to do, and we have those 2 stitches there. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip those 2 stitches. Okay, so chain your 1, and now you're going to double crochet in the turn and chain. So the double crochet, you're going to find the top of the chain like we've been when we first started, the little back bar, the little bump in the back of our chain. I'm going to go through that, and then it will give us our 2 loops on our hook. See, there you go. 1, 2, and just put your double crochet there, and that will be our last double crochet for row 3. So now for row 4, you're going to turn your work and you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So remember that chain that we make right here, we'll consider our first double crochet. So we're doing exactly what we did for row 2, we're repeating for row 4, and that's the pattern we're going to follow. So next step that you're going to do, as we did for row 2, all you're going to do is put 2 double crochet in that first chain space that we have right there, and that's it to start row 4. So that's it. So that's our pattern that we're going to follow for the rest of our shawl till we get all the way up to row 31. All you're going to do is repeat row 2 and row 3. So now you're at row 4, repeat what you did in row 2, and then when you get to row 5, you're going to repeat what we did in row 3. That's it. That's how easy it is. So if you wanted your shawl to have more rows, of course you could continue doing it. You don't have to stop, but I stop at row 31, all right, so that you're aware of. So when you get to row 31, stop there and I'll show you what to do next, because we're going to fasten off at that point. But just those 2 rows to repeat, easy pattern. So we made it all the way up to row 31. Yes, we did it. So now what we're going to do to fasten off, we're going to chain one. We're going to pull up a tail, and I'm going to grab my scissors and cut it off, and then I'll show you how to weave it in. So now what I did is I cut off my yarn, and I attached my yarn needle already. So what I do is just that chain one we did, just tighten it against our yarn, pull on it, and there it goes. Just going to hide it as best as I can, and I'm going to start with the color of our yarn that we have that matches where we end off with. Okay, and I'm just going to keep on finding different stitch that I could weave it in, and that's all I'm going to do, and hide in our tail, because basically it's secure there already with that chain one space that we made, but I'm just showing you what all I do with it. Okay, so I go back and forth, as you see, a couple of times to make it sure it stays. Come back around, and one more time, and I think that would be good for me. And then now what I'm going to do is going to grab my scissors and just cut that off, and that's it. So I cut off my tail that I had, and of course go ahead and do it as many times if you feel comfortable in doing it, so it's nice and secure. And I'm not going to show you the other tails that we have. That's it. I'm just going to show you that one. Go ahead and do the same exact thing we just did for the other tails we have. That's it. We're all finished. Came out really lovely. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye bye.